Good evening and welcome to the June 15th, 2026 Board of County Commissioners for Granville County. Before we get started, I'd like to give everyone in the audience and those watching remotely an update on Commissioner Jay, who is our chairman. I'm vice chairman and will be filling in tonight. He is not here with us tonight because Z, as I like to call him, has had surgery last week. The good news is the surgery went excellent. He's doing well and is already back home. He's probably watching us tonight, so if you are, Z, we're glad to have you back, and hopefully you'll be back here pretty soon. We'd also like to ask that you keep Chairman Jay in your thoughts and prayers. I'm sorry. At this time, I'd like to ask Commissioner May to give us the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lord, for your son Jesus and for his sacrifice. Lord, thank you for the love you bestow upon us and the mercy and the grace that you have for each one of us every day. Lord, we all acknowledge that we are fallen creatures and we fail often. And we thank you so much that you provided a sacrifice on our behalf so that we may have eternal life. Please, Lord, bless this meeting tonight. Help the decisions we make be guided by you, that we use the appropriate wisdom and guidance that you provide us. Look after our county, look after our state, and look after our nation. In Christ's name we pray. Oh, Lord, most importantly, Father, we do pray for rain. Pray for rain. We pray that you bring us much rain. And we thank you now. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner May. Does anyone have any items they'd like to add to the agenda or any items they would like to pull from the agenda? If not, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as stated.
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Commissioner Griffin, a second by Commissioner Cozart. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it, agenda approved. Next item is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion we approve.
I second.
We have a motion by Commissioner May, a second by Commissioner Griffin. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it, motion carried. At this time, I'd like to introduce our clerk, Jessica Todd, and turn this over to her with the 2026 Summer Civic Leadership Interns. Ms. Todd?
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Tonight, I have the distinct honor of introducing to all of you our 2026 Summer Civic Youth Leadership Interns. These students are students who are residents of Granville County. They are rising 11th and 12th graders. And as you know, since 2000, this board has annually funded scholarships for local students through the 6-week internship program. These students began their work with the county on June 11th, so last Wednesday, and they will be spending the next 5 to 6 weeks working with various departments within the county, gaining hands-on experience in local government operations. In addition to their departmental placements, they're going to work together to complete a group project that they will present to you all at your August meeting. They're also going to visit and engage with departments outside of their individual placements to explore broader functions within the Granville County government. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to them and have them introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Anaya Crutcher. I'm a rising senior at JF Webb. I'm honored to be a part of the Summer Civic Leadership Intern. While I was not very familiar with county government before this opportunity, I was eager to learn more about local leadership and public service. I look forward to gaining professional experience, learning from community leaders, and developing skills that will help my future career and education. Thank you all for this opportunity.
Hi, my name is Dasha Williford. I'm very honored as well to be a part of the Summer Civic Intern Leadership Program. I am a rising senior at Vance Charter School and I live right in Oxford. I am very excited to be learning about local government and how each department operates with each other, coinciding with ideas to help further benefit the community. I am also very excited to gain hands-on experience and work with each department individually and help further my education, not only local government, but government as a whole, to help pursue law in the future. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Amy Santana Morales. I am a rising junior at Granville-Vance College, and I'm really honored to be a part of this internship. And I hope to learn more about local governments and how they influence our communities. The reason why I decided to join this internship was because I want to learn more about local governments and develop more skills. I'm excited to go to each department and learn more about what they do and their responsibilities. Thank you for this opportunity.
Hello, my name is Tyler Jastro. I just turned 16 5 days ago. Thank you. I live in Oxford, North Carolina, like right off of the city. I go to Granville Early College High School and I'm a rising junior. I wanted to participate in this internship because in the 10th grade, I had a very good civics teacher who taught me a lot about government, and I became really interested in it. And I hope to gain a better understanding of the local government from this internship because the curriculum focused mainly on like the federal and the state, but it didn't teach me a lot about like the local government. So I hope to learn a lot about this area of government, especially since it's more hands-on and what people mostly see from the government is local government. Thank you for having me.
This is the 24th year, I believe, that this has occurred, and this is a fine group of students. We appreciate y'all being here and continuing with your schoolwork in the future. And hopefully you'll get involved in the government one day. Thank you. At this opportunity, it's our next issue is public comments. If you've signed up, when you come, please give us your name and your address. I'd like to remind everyone that these are comments, not questions and answers. Please limit to 3 minutes. We have several signed up tonight. And at this time, the first one, Madam Clerk.
Yes, the first speaker tonight is Mark Yates. When you come forward, please state your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, Mark Yates, 1691 Mount Pleasant Road, Willow Spring, North Carolina, with Anchor Disposal, and I yield my time to Mr. Tim Herman.
Tim Herman, 412 Hollythorn Trace, Holly Springs, North Carolina. Good evening. The photographs of all 7 convenience centers are in Anchor's proposal, and that proposal is in a packet in front of you tonight. They're the same photographs you saw on the board 2 weeks ago. Look at them again before you vote, but right now ask one question. Is this the vendor and the equipment that you want to keep currently in place? Because currently in place is GFL's own phrase. In their proposal, in their opening, GFL says they're the current provider, that their equipment is currently in place, and if they win, there will be no transitional period. They continue exactly as they stand today. So what you're holding is no hypothetical. It's GFL's equipment, the equipment they propose to refurbish and repaint. Anchor's proposal says the opposite, In our own words, we're not proposing refurbished equipment, not to maintain the status quo. GFL sells continuity, nothing transition. And after what's in your hands, that's not a reassurance, that's a warning. GFL's proposal tells you that they, quote, update compactors as needed. Indeed, they have. At the Butner site, one of those compactors caught fire within 30 days of our inspections. That is what as needed looks like to GFL. There's something else that GFL's no transition pitch leaves out. GFL frames the bid as the same work, only cheaper. Nothing changes. But this contract requires brand new attendant houses and 24-hour cameras at all 7 sites, and GFL is committed to every provision of it. Take them at their word and nothing changes cannot be right. You cannot put up new buildings at all 7 sites and call it nothing's changing. That's not a knock on their promise, it's the point. On these sites, nothing changes, only cheaper is the last thing the county should settle for. And you don't have to rely on just the photographs. At the meeting 2 weeks ago, 2 of you commented on what everybody sees. One called his site an absolute mess, recycling overflowing, roll-off boxes full of trash in the yard, a standing Wednesday call to staff because, in his words, GFL does nothing on its own. Another said a compactor was down at his site for 6 days. Anchor's proposal calls all this what it is. It's the factual record. It's not an attack. When GFL called these pictures inaccurate, a member of this board said just the opposite, that Anchor did not overstate a thing. Whether these photographs are accurate is not an open question. You've already answered it. So that's the problem. Commissioner May, you asked the right question 2 weeks ago. Why did the RFP specify new equipment, and do we need it? Anchor answered you. The county required all new equipment in the first version of the RFP, and Anchor's the only company that delivered that proposal. Now let's talk about the increased cost. Staff put it on the screen. About $25 per household a year against the budget. It's $2 a month. Anchor does not run from our number. In our own words, our fees are higher, and they should be because the price reflects the true cost of doing the job right. That $2 a month buys all new equipment, remediated pads, new attendant houses, cameras that the contract requires, trained attendants and a supervisor, real containment at sites like Wilton, and documented maintenance that the county can inspect. And even with that increase, the annual rate of $154 is $3.50 lower than the average that the 4 counties around you pay. Commissioner May, you also asked, who pays for that equipment down the road and who owns it? That's exactly the kind of term that Anchor invited the county to discuss in the cover letter of our RFP response. And Anchor is prepared to commit in the contract to the county owning that equipment at the end of our term. And that's where the real savings comes. You keep GFL, and GFL keeps all the iron, and they stay your only real bidder, not only in this cycle, but also in the next one. But if you own the equipment, and your next contract can then be bid by anyone who can simply run the site, you will have had $800,000 of equipment handed over to you. You own it. And that cost comes out of every bid that gets bid the next time. You pay the premium once, you save on that for years. Let me close where this board started 2 weeks ago. Right before I spoke, you had a conversation about litter. One of you spoke about pride. You spoke about pride in your property, pride on your yard, pride on your farm, and you were tired of seeing people trash a county that he called a beautiful place worth maintaining. Well, the county owns 7 pieces of property whose whole purpose is to keep this county from being trashed. And thousands of residents pull into those convenience sites every month. Some may call the courthouse the county's front yard, but which one do more of your citizens actually see? Each convenience center is the county's front yard where citizens see their county government in action. And GFL told you in writing that they're proud of those sites and they want to keep running them. So I'll ask the question your own litter conversation raised with respect. Your whole...
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is Rosalind Green. And please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Rosalind Green, and I live at 4181 Shock Overton Road in Providence. That's Oxford, North Carolina. Good afternoon. I am here to talk about funding for the Mary Potter School shop building. I know we may miss the open window to be considered for funding for this coming fiscal year, but due to the situation, which I will explain, I hope you will consider the package that you have in front of you for the project, either now or for the next fiscal year. The reason I kind of delayed submitting this was I wanted to have our general contractor in place. And we now have Haven Design Build. We signed the contract in April. And in May, we finalized the scope of work and budget, which you have in front of you for phase one, because the money that I'm asking for of you to consider, even though, like I said, I missed the open window, but you have phase one is what we are requesting funding for. And that would include the stabilization of the building. At our last meeting, I learned about micropiles, which has increased our budget by at least $300,000. So if you know all about micropiles, which I'm learning, that building is 100 years old this year, the Mary Potter School shop building. So we need all this extra equipment, materials to stabilize the building due to the soil. We had Keller come out and we had to redo borings a couple weeks ago. And that was unexpected expenses. So basically, I am here to just ask you to consider a contribution or find some extra money in your budget this year. And consider, I mean, this has been a long process. And I am so happy, I'm glad to see even Ms. Sue Hinman here, because we started when she was here on the board. So this has been an ongoing process, but I am happy that we are ready to really start groundbreaking in August. And as a matter of fact, we're having a groundbreaking ceremony, and everybody here is invited. In August, in July 18th, in front of the Mary Potter School shop building at East McClanahan Street. And you'll get to meet Evoke, our architect company, Haven Design Build, and also the shop restoration team. And it's the weekend of our reunion, so you get to meet a lot of people. We thought it'd be appropriate at that time because a lot of people be here from out of town, which leads to business and money in Granville County because it's going to become a tourist attraction. So anyway, please consider.
Speaking of, next is Miss Juanita Hinman.
Sorry. I'm Juanita Sue Hinman, as you all know me, because my guys left me one time because I was Juanita. But I just want to, I'm at 515 Goshen Street, Oxford, North Carolina. And I just want to say good evening and thank you, Vice Chair Williford, and the rest of you commissioners for listening, and staff also. This is very, very important. You all know that I was one of the biggest ones here wanting to make sure we didn't spend money on things that we didn't need, but we also needed to take care of things that were promised to us, like a wire at a school that took us, 6 years to get fixed? That we keep letting that school or whomever promise they're going to do things and not do them. And I agree with those convenience sites. I've been there. And they're falling down. They're coming apart. They were supposed to have been fixed 4 years ago. I don't know about you, but that's a little bit of a time. It's not just a couple seconds, and it's not been done. Our people from Anchor have called and asked to speak to our staff to explain how they wanted to work on this equipment. Staff did not return, except for the attorney, did not return their calls, did not talk with them. So how can we make this better if we're willing to talk? Are we going to try to be the federal government
spending money on things that we really don't need to be spending money on, or actually taking care of what needs to be taken care of. Thank you for listening to me and helping me get up here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hinman.
Next is Jacob Moore. A reminder, state your name and address for the record.
Jacob Moore, 3587 Copper Creek, Franklinton. First, let me thank y'all, gentlemen. Let me state that first, opinions expressed by me are mine and mine alone. They do not reflect any people, persons, or organizations thereof, and questions that I may have are rhetorical in nature. I come to talk tonight about the Board of Elections meeting tomorrow night and so-called disenfranchisement by those. I asked the question, where was the disenfranchisement calls for those in the northern end of the county? Those in Stovall, those in Bullock, those in Wilburn, who drive almost 30 to 35 minutes every early election cycle to an early voting site here in Oxford. Where were the calls for those in District 3 in 2022 when they had no Board of Education election that year? There were no calls for disenfranchisement for those citizens. Where were they at? So I am for moving the sites, moving the one from Public Works here to the Expo building, and the one from Creedmoor to Tar River. They have more parking, easier flow of traffic, and they are closer to those. For instance, Oxford from here to Stovall and Bullock takes 25 to 30 minutes, which is why we need one in the Stovall community, I would say. Butner Stem to Oxford takes 10 to 15 minutes. Creedmoor to Tar River takes 12 minutes. It's not that big of a deal. People get from place to place every day. It may be a little inconvenience, but that's every election cycle. We all make inconveniences every day. So I say this to finish up. Since 2014, the precinct with the most votes cast during early voting has been the Wilton precinct, which is where Tar River is. So, and the second one, followed by, has always either been Wilton or Mount Energy, which is closer to Tar River. Yes, the Oxford Public Works may get more votes in total, but by precinct, it is the Wilton district. Tar River is the ideal place for it. It is where it needs to be, and I am for moving one there. We have one there, but closing the one in Creedmoor and keeping it in Tar River and proposed in Stovall. I may be in a minority tonight, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Baba Carr.
Babacar, 212 Granville Street, Oxford, North Carolina, 27565. I'd like to say hello to all of you and also to all the people and law enforcement. Hello to you too, sirs. We meet again to discuss the plan to move the Oxford early voting location from the Public Works building on Penn Avenue to the Granville Expo Center outside of town. The fact of the matter is that we must remember that the most important one in this discussion are the people in the county and in the city. It is not the state government or the North Carolina auditor, Dave Bullock. It is the people. Let us have the people in the local area decide for themselves. The people have always been the ones who are able to decide for themselves in the matter of these issues. Let us be cognizant that our democracy demands that the people make decisions for themselves. Matters of this sort are best left to the local people. Matters of this sort are best left to the local people. Matters of this sort are best left to the local people. Thank you. Ruling Elder Baba Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Carr.
Kristen Hefner. Kristen Hefner, 400 West B Street, apartment G5, Butner, North Carolina. I'm also here to speak about the proposed changes to the early voting locations in Granville County. As a Butner resident, I am concerned about the removal of the South Branch Library as the early voting location. I have mapped both the potential site of the Expo Center and the Tar River Elementary for my home, and it would take me 20 minutes to get to early voting. I'm not alone in this. Many people in our community rely on early voting as the most convenient and flexible way for them to vote. Working class people often do not have the luxury to be off on election day and need to have multiple days in which they can go to a location to vote that is also close to where they are grocery shopping, to where they're picking up their prescriptions, to where they're running their errands. These proposed changes to our early voting locations are coming at the same time that our state legislature is considering shortening the early voting period and changing many laws around voting. The state legislature is currently considering legislation that would make it illegal for y'all as local elected officials and state elected officials to encourage people in our communities to vote, and they're trying to make our state board of elections more partisan. Our democracy only works if as many people as possible participate. There's no reason that we should be making the oversight of our elections more partisan and that our elected officials shouldn't be able to encourage people in our communities to vote. People in Raleigh who have never lived in Granville County should not be the ones who are telling us how and where we should be voting. If our early voting locations are moved from where people have always gone and all of our elected officials are barred from encouraging people to vote, our voter turnout in Granville County will fall. I am not opposed to there being an early voting site, to opening an early voting site in northern Granville County. I think it's really important that we ensure that all people across our county have equal access to vote. But I don't think that this move of opening a site in northern Granville County requires the early voting sites in Oxford and South Granville that people know and love and always go to be changed. I'm asking all of you as our elected officials to take this seriously and to speak out about these changes, both the legislation that's coming down from the state as well as these Board of Election changes. And as the elected leaders of our community, we need you all to help ensure that voting is as accessible as possible for all Granville County residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hafner.
Sean Dixon. As a reminder, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Sean Dixon. I live at 4016 Richard Lane in Oxford. Dear Board of Commissioners, I was a transplant who moved here several years ago, and because of the claims of how North Carolina is and the likelihood of achieving the American ideals, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In living here, I have been able to achieve some of these goals and been able to achieve some happiness in doing so while being around some lovely neighbors and community members. In that, I am now saddened in the fact that of hearing that we are taking a basic civil right away from community members, and that's the right to vote. I'm here like the others over the moving or removal of voting polls in the area, and I have to say it's hurtful, and my patriotism screams at this injustice that's happening. And I know that it's up to the Board of Commissioners to make this vote about that decision, but I do know you guys also have some sway and communication as part of government in general. I'm here to ask that you keep up with the ideals of America the ideals of this Constitution and not disenfranchise many people. Again, I don't think anything wrong of opening more places. I think it's wrong to take away places for people who may not have the privilege or opportunities like I have that are actually dwindling as the months and days go by. So please do what you can, and please think about the people you serve and who voted you in ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon.
Mary Petit or Pettit?
Good evening. I reside at 712 Raleigh Street here in Oxford. I'm speaking to you
Your
today.
name, please, ma'am. Your name.
Mary Pettit. I'm speaking to you today to ask you use your influence on the election board's proposal to change the early voting sites in Granville County. These proposed changes are moving the Oxford early voting site from an area of dense population to outside of the Oxford metro area. This change will impact accessibility for voters who do not have transportation, as is many of my neighbors, those who work in Oxford, and those who have time restrictions because of work or family schedules. It will also impact those who depend on carts for transportation, as this center at the convention center is not part of the carts route, whereas areas close to the public works complex allow for access. Similar reasons need to be considered when discussing the closure of the early voting site at the South Granville Public Library in Creedmoor. This site allows for easy access for those coming from Butner and Stem, as well as those citizens who reside in the Creedmoor metro area. As outlined by the website of the Legal Defense Fund, the Legal Defense Fund's Black Voters on the Rise team has monitored elections in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Texas for years, and has found that polling place consolidation and changes are a significant factor in limiting voting access. Notably, voting is limited when election officials close, relocate, or consolidate poll sites without sufficiently or well informing voters, because voters often rely on prior information and past voting habits. Individuals can be discouraged from voting when their long-standing polling places are changed or consolidated, requiring them to search for a posted sign at that location, and if there is one, then travel to the updated location. We need to ensure that all can have what they need to exercise their right to cast a ballot. Let's not make voting an obstacle. Let's make it accessible. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next is Pat Luce, or I apologize if I mispronounced it.
I'm Emmett Santello. I'm next to speak. I'm ceding my time to Pat Luce, 1211 Bayview Court, Franklinton, Granville County.
Good evening. Pat Luce, GFL 808 Cedarwood Court, Chesapeake, Virginia 23322. Some of my comments are going to be repetitive, but I think they're needed. I'm getting a little frustrated how Anchor is portraying GFL. We've tried to remain professional during this whole bidding process, and the only thing that they can do is try to attack us with comments and statements that aren't accurate and are used to inflame the commission. Again, I repeat, they can't even give their own presentation. They had to hire somebody. They had to hire a third party to talk about their company, about how they're experts in what they do. They have absolutely no experience. They've never done a convenience site. The one reference that they used, Franklin County, they lost that. And that was just for hauling. We don't hear about that. All they can concentrate on is GFL and old equipment. Well, let's talk about equipment. They're trying to villainize the fact that used equipment is a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a positive for you, okay? First of all, as Jason spoke last week, there's a lot of teeth in the contract for any type of breakdowns and not being able to service the county. So everything in the RFP, we acknowledged every requirement that was required, okay? Everything that's in there. So the way that they're portraying that is not accurate. The other thing I'm curious about, they keep changing their bid at each presentation that we do here in public comments. Last week, they changed their pricing on hauls. This week, we're going to give you all the equipment at the end. I mean, what else are they going to change? Okay. Let's talk about the equipment that we have currently. In 2025 alone, we spent $75,000 on maintenance and upgrades. Nobody told us that we had to do that, but we understand as part of a contract, that's what you do. You upgrade the equipment as needed, okay? This is a positive. This is not a negative. This is going to save the county over $850,000 annually. I'm not going to apologize for that. I think it's great. I keep hearing, fair versus unfair. I've been doing this for close to 25 years. And I've been on the other end of it as far as an RFP that had new versus used. And I had a commissioner one time said to me, he said, this isn't about you or the competition that you're going against. This is about what is in the best interest of the county, okay? And that's what we're talking about here. I can't understand how using our equipment that we have, saving you over $850,000, having a track record is a bad thing for the county. I think it's a positive. And these pictures, okay? Talk about taking things out of context. I especially enjoyed the picture of the shovel, okay? They actually made a deal about it and said, here's a shovel that's not being used. Congratulations, you took a picture of a shovel. That was really good. Saying rainwater is hydraulic fluid. Again, not true, okay? So anyway, we've done a very good job for you guys over the years. We want to continue that relationship. We want to serve the constituents of Granville County and again, save the money. And I'm not going to apologize for us lowering our rates either. Again, I think that's something that's good for the county. So no apologies there. So again, I want to thank you for your time, and we look forward to your decision tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. That concludes the public comments for this evening. I'd like to just go back real quick. We are missing one other commissioner. I apologize for not mentioning it. Commissioner Karen was unable to be here tonight for a previous engagement that was could not get out of. So I'd like to mention that. As many of you know, he sits between Commissioner May and Commissioner Gooch, so he is absent tonight. All right, moving along. At this point of a sheriff matter with the medical retirement and transfer, the Sheriff's Department. Chief Buster.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here this evening on behalf of Sheriff Fountain, who unfortunately was not able to be here, to ask the board to consider and authorize the transfer of ownership of a medically retired K-9 asset, K-9 chip, to the deputy handler, Deputy Garrett Pascal. This is at the set rate of $1, which will be deposited in the appropriate account. And this is based on the fact that unfortunately, the dog has had some injuries, was attempted to try to come back into training, but was unsuccessful. And we're thinking this is the best outcome for everyone involved.
Thank you, Chief Buster. Do we have a motion to approve the sale of K-9 chip to Deputy Pascal?
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the request.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Cozart, a second by Commissioner Griffin. Is there any more discussion on this motion? Commissioner May?
I have some questions regarding the K-9 program after the vote.
Okay, all right. Hearing no more discussion, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. You want Commissioner May? Chief Buster, could you please?
Good evening, Chief.
Good evening.
How many K-9s do we currently?
With the retirement of K-9 chip, we're now down to 5.
5. How are they kenneled at home? How are they kenneled? How is this K-9 kenneled at this present time?
This particular K-9? So we have a set kennel that we purchase and we develop for the dogs. I personally have not seen his, so I can't speak to that matter.
Would that kennel be returned?
Normally, that is not the practice. We could bring that up with the sheriff at a later date. But
Just curious what the cost is and if he's no longer, is it he or she?
it's a he.
Right, if it's no longer going to be kenneled for the purpose of law enforcement work, and just, was that asset come back to the county?
Like I said, normally we haven't done that, but I don't, like I said, that's something for the sheriff to consider.
What are the costs of those, do you know?
Ballpark around $600.
Okay, it's not, we're not talking thousands of dollars.
No, we're not.
Okay, then, as long as we're not talking thousands of dollars, is it like a temporary kennel?
No, actually, the team, they take great effort in building these kennels to keep these dogs protected. But we try to use the most appropriate cost-saving measures.
It's in the ground. It's in the ground.
No,
correct?
actually,
Portable.
they put it on a platform, and they put this metal. It's not like the diamond type metal. It's more of the square ones. And so, like I said, I'm not intimately involved in it. So, but they actually do a good job to protect these dogs. With these
What
kennels.
was this canine that just retired? What was its specialty?
It was a drug dog.
Oh,
Drug and tracking.
Can you describe to me the canines that we have, what their specialties are?
So we currently have 2. Most of the dogs are multi-purpose as far as like drugs and tracking. We do have 2 new dogs that are apprehension dogs. So 3 tracking and 2 apprehension.
Okay, thank you for your answers. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief.
I'm not, if you were talking about a $5,000-$10,000 portable or a few $1,000 portable kennel, I'd be.
Oh, yeah. No, sir.
You've explained it, so thank you.
Okay.
Okay, next on the agenda is the adoption of the fiscal year 2026-27 budget ordinance. And Ms. Baird, Finance Director, if you would come down, please.
Mr. Chair, we're not anticipating making any sort of presentation, but if there are questions, we can certainly answer them.
Okay. We have gone over the budget multiple times, and I think we have clarified any questions any commissioners or anyone else had. At this time, do we have a motion to approve the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget.
Mr. Chair, if I would, I'd like for the county manager, although we have, this will be approval and it's been presented before, I'd like for, if you could, just give the taxpayers some key highlights of the budget. And if you could, county manager, and in that regard, that would, I think, be beneficial to the residents.
Sure. I'll do my best to recall all of the high points of the work that we've put into this budget over the last 6 months. So one key item that I know will be of interest to everybody is that neither the county tax rate nor the fire tax rate is changing. Both are remaining constant. The fire tax rate at 6 cents and the county's overall tax rate at 63.1 cents per hundred valuation. On the revenue side, sales taxes have been doing well. Combination of sales taxes, natural growth in the property tax base, and judicious use of some of our fund balance have created about a $2.9 million increase year over year in the budget. But again, that's been achieved without any tax rate increase. And in terms of what is that increase is being spent on, the vast majority is being spent on our employees. The last pay study we did was in 2019. It took several years to implement that, but basically we haven't had a kind of comprehensive adjustment to our staff salaries in those 7 years. And so we had a bit of catching up to do, and I know that I'm grateful, and I know that our employees are grateful for the implementation approach that is contained in the budget before you tonight. So hope that will suffice. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Drew. At this time, I'd like to thank the staff that has put this budget together, our Assistant Deputy Karina, Ms. Baird, our County Manager, and all those department heads. We have spent hours. I know it's public might not believe it, but we take a lot of pride in what we do, and we look at it as not our money, it's the citizens' money. And we are very aware of that. Commissioner Griffin reminds us that every meeting. So we have no money. Our money is your money. But we do take very great pains to make sure that we're spending every penny wisely. So thank you. No tax increase for this year. Okay, let's go back to the vote. Commissioner May, are you satisfied with?
Yeah, I'd just like to point out just a few, if I may.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's important. It is the most important decision commissioners make the entire year. It consumes the staff for most of the year, and then of course we've had a large number of meetings concerning this, and so I don't want to, because we didn't approve it the first go around, was because we wanted to get to the bottom of a few issues, and those are policy-oriented issues. And so one of the issues that was driving some cost is the vehicle lease and vehicle maintenance costs that we're dealing with. And so one of the things that commissioners have decided on, that we would actually have someone, bring on someone that would have an expertise in that line of work. And we'd also are demanding policy implementation on vehicle use. And if the vehicle use policy is not adopted, then we won't be leasing any more cars. Or that discussion will come back to the board to see what we will lease and what we won't lease. That's critical because that cost keeps growing. If we don't get control of this cost, the leasing program does not become something that's advantageous, but something that is disadvantageous. And so it's very important that we stay with the cost and stay on top of that cost. We also talked about accountability, and just one of the areas that we did discuss was our SRO accountability, and the accountability of making sure that when we have SROs assigned to the schools, understanding that the difficulty that sometimes you run across, but this board went to great stakes over the last few years of making sure that we have SROs assigned to each school. and that they're present and accounted for at those schools. And it's really a simple fix that we're working with the schools, and the sheriff's office has done a good job of trying to fill some of those gaps, but also we need to make sure those gaps are always filled and that we have people present at the schools. So that was another policy. And then, of course, another policy decision that we will come to terms with is aligning and making sure that people that are what their pay and classification is actually the function that they're performing, and ensuring that they are actually performing the pay and classification in which they're doing, because if not, then we have people that may be working in areas that may drive cost in a different direction than what we want, because they're not sitting in the chair that we anticipated they'd be sitting in. Another issue when I mention these things, it's important that everyone understands that, just don't simply approve it. County manager brings us a budget, and we just simply make an approval of budget. It's a lot of time and detailed work gone into this. Just real quick synopsis of your budget, and it's your budget. The cost, the expenditures, 9% will go to county government, 19% will go to human services, 7% will go to community services, 23% will go to education. Public safety will receive 18%, other appropriations 15%, and debt service 9%. So it's a pretty healthy, but when you think about it though, we're hitting they're hitting items that in which the community draws most upon: education, public safety, and human services. And so I think it's a well-rounded budget, well thought out budget. And again, we have applied some what I call levers to ensure that policy is adhered to, and the policy is adhered to, then hopefully we can reduce our cost. And that's what we're looking for, is making sure we're staying within budget and reducing costs where we can. County manager, you also made some cuts before we ever started the budget. And what areas were those in?
So I think the primary cuts that we looked at this year was just to not budget at 100% of our staffing load. So we budget knowing that we have some turnover, budgeting at 95%. So we're only budgeting 95% of our personnel costs, trusting based on historical analysis that we'll still have sufficient funds to cover all of the staff who are here during the year. So not actually any cut positions, just tighter budgeting for the positions we have.
Thank you. That's all our comments. I just want to give a general idea, and any other commissioner would like to add it, is more than welcome. But I think there have been some affirmative steps taken to make sure that we're managing the budget appropriately, and that we're hitting the marks, and that we're not seeing a tax increase, and which I'm happy about.
Thank you, Commissioner May, for those comments. Do we have any other comments by any other commissioners?
Mr. Vice Chair, just a comment in reference to what Commissioner May said in a general sense. I think the openness in the process, the sharing with those who receive funds from the county, I think the amount of information that has been made public helped us when we came time for the budget, for the public hearing on our budget. And I'm very grateful for all the individual conversations that were held with those groups that were seeking funds. Not that everyone is happy, but I do believe everyone understands a lot more about what we're doing. And that makes me feel good. And so I do appreciate all the many efforts that went into trying to explain and share the whole process and what we were trying to accomplish.
Thank you for those comments, Commissioner Cozart. Commissioner Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to reiterate, as Commissioner Williford said, I always state and believe that we don't have any money. All the monies that we spend at this level belong to you. And I entrust and hope and pray that you think that we have done a good job in ensuring those monies are best spent to provide the most and best and adequate services to the citizens of our county. There are a lot of times we looked at this budget and we really worked hard. You know, in today's economy, all of us are having to cinch up the belt a little bit. The price of gas, groceries, housing, and everything else is impacting everybody. Nobody is immune, just like we aren't here at this level. So I just want you to know we have worked extremely hard And I'm proud of the budget I think that we've put together. And as much so that we could do and change and make the best opportunities for you as the citizens of this county. And so if you ever have any questions about the budget, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be glad to talk to anybody about it at any time. But because that's what you elected me for, and that's what I'm here to do. I will always look after your money, just like it was mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Griffin. Commissioner Gooch.
Yes, thank you. One of the things that I like about the way we do things here in Granville County is we don't penalize department heads for not spending their budget. If they have money left over that's returned to the county, to the general fund, we appreciate that. We thank them for it. It means you don't have to spend every penny in your budget unless you absolutely need to. And, you know, it's very refreshing when we have department heads that watch the money they spend and they spend it carefully because they realize this is the citizens of our county. This is their money that they're spending. Now, we have some departments that they get the budget and they like to spend up front and then pump the brakes later on as needed. And yeah, I just don't see that as being a good steward of taxpayer funds. And I disagree with that philosophy towards spending. And, you know, I would hope that all of us here would agree with that you need every department head, every department needs to watch the money as close as they can and be careful with their spending and not spend it on frivolous things, not spend it on toys. So this has been a long process. It's been a really difficult process because we never have the money to fund everything we want to fund. And we've had to make some really hard choices this year. And, you know, we've worked together and made those choices. You know, as far as the commissioners are concerned, we started work on this in January with the first budget retreat. Prior to that, the administration, county manager, assistant county manager, and all the administrative staff and all the department heads have been working months prior to that. So when we vote on the budget, it's almost a year-round thing now. You don't get to catch your breath much before you start working on the next budget. And if there are no further comments, I think everyone's had the chance to say. I'd like to make a motion that we pass this budget.
Okay, at this point, I will ask for a motion to approve the 2026-2027 budget.
I'd like to make that motion to approve the 2026-2027 budget.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gooch and a second by Commissioner Cozart. Is there any more discussion on the budget?
I think Commissioner Griffin brought up a good point. All our doors are open and all of us are willing to discuss the budget.
Absolutely.
And defend our decisions, and to do our very best to get it right.
Okay. We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, likewise. Ayes have it. Motion is carried for budget for 2026-2027. Approval of the special budget amendment to amend the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget ordinance, Smart Start. Do we have any, at this point, Commissioner Cozart will recuse himself from this vote. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Do we have anything that needs to come before us, Madam Clerk? Okay, all right. Do we have a motion to approve the special budget amendment for the Smart Start?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion to approve the special budget amendment for funding for the annual allocation to Smart Start in the amount of $5,500.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gooch, a second by Commissioner Griffin. Commissioner Cozart is recusing himself. At this point, all those in favor, vote. Do we have any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, likewise. Ayes have it. Motion carried. Number 9 is the approval of special budget amendment to amend the 2026-2027 budget ordinance, Granville-Vance Public Health. I'm gonna read a little background information. How about if I put it on this one? North Carolina General Statute 130-A and Administrative Code 10A NCAC 46-0201 states that the county health department's statutory obligation to provide core public health services, including communicable disease control, vital records registration, environmental health programs, and health education information services. The additional allocation ensures continued compliance with state public health mandates, maintains essential services for the protection and well-being of county residents. The recommendation: the county manager recommends approval of the special budget amendment for funding the additional allocation to the Granville-Vance Public Health in the amount of $60,000. Do we have a motion to approve this special budget amendment for Granville-Vance Public Health?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the additional allocation for our health department, Granville-Vance Public Health.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Cozart and a second by, I believe, Commissioner May. Do we have any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, vote by the sign, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, thank you all for bearing with me. We had to clear something up. It's okay. All right, number 10, the adoption of fiscal year 2026-2027 fee manual ordinance. And I'll give you a little background. In conjunction with adopting the annual operating budget for the upcoming fiscal year, the governing board reviews and evaluates staff recommended updates to the county fee manual. The board has completed a thorough review of the county manager's recommended fiscal year 2026-2027 budget and the proposed fee adjustments, including participation in work sessions, a public hearing, and related discussions. Do we have a motion to approve the adoption of fiscal year 2026. Mr. County Manager.
Mr. Vice Chair, I believe you all have a slightly amended agenda item in front of you. And if you don't, I'm going to read you the change. The county attorney requested that this language be added to the fee manual as it shows up in our final and adopted budget. And it's a simple statement, which I'll go ahead and read. It says, fees that are established by North Carolina general statutes or other applicable law are included in the fee manual for convenience and reference only and shall be assessed and collected strictly in accordance with such law as amended from time to time. What that means is if we have state fees built into our fee manual and the state changes them mid-year, they will also change for Granville County residents regardless of what our fee manual says, because we're not the ones setting those fees. So it's simply a clarification that will be added to the top of the fee manual.
Thank you.
Nothing beyond that is changing in the fee manual. It's all has been proposed and shown and discussed.
Thank you for clarifying that, County Manager. All right, so we need to go back to the, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the adoption of the fee manual ordinance for 2026, 2027.
Mr. Vice Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to recommend the adoption of the fiscal year 2026, 2027 fee manual ordinance.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Griffin, a second by Commissioner Gooch. Do we have any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it. Motion carries. A resolution to adopt fiscal year 2026, 2027 position classification and pay plan. We don't need it. We don't need it. All right. In conjunction with adopting the annual operating budget, the governing board reviews and evaluates staff recommended updates to the county's position classification and pay plan. As part of this year's process, staff has incorporated findings and recommendations from this recently completed countywide pay study, which assessed market competitiveness, internal equity, and alignment with organizational staffing needs. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution to adopt the fiscal year 2026, 2027 position classification and pay plan?
Mr. Vice Chairman, I make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2026, 2027 position classification and pay plan resolution.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Griffin, a second by Commissioner May. Do we have any more discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Okay, planning matters. Legislature hearing regarding land development code text amendment pertaining to accessory dwelling units. Okay. The next matter on the agenda is a legislature hearing conducted pursuant to the North Carolina General Statutes 160D-601 to receive public comment on a proposed text amendment to the County Land Development Ordinance. The proposed amendment is an amendment to the Land Development Code that would allow a detached accessory dwelling unit on a residential property that already has a principal dwelling and established development standards for the ADU. I now declare this legislature hearing open. At this time, I would like to recognize Barry Baker, the County Planning Director, to present the proposed text amendment and the recommendation of the County Planning Board. Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. As the Chair mentioned, it is a public hearing for considering adding accessory dwelling units. to our residential zoning district. I want to state first that all public notices required by local and state law have been accomplished for tonight's hearing. It is an amendment that would allow a detached accessory dwelling unit on residential property that already has principal dwelling unit and also established development standards. The amendment was proposed by the Inspections Department to provide a legal means for detached ADUs to be permitted. There have been occurrences over some period of time of folks putting dwelling units in barns and outbuildings that don't meet the residential building code. This would allow and provide a legal means for someone to build one legally with a building permit. The comp plan expresses a goal that encourages the provision of a mix of housing opportunities that increase housing diversity at all income levels to better serve the current and future populations. The county finds the proposed amendment is reasonable. The county planning board found that the proposed amendment is a reasonable and consistent effort to implement the plan's goal of providing a mix of housing opportunities. After holding a public hearing on May 21st, the planning board unanimously recommended 7-0 the recommended text amendment. I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Baker? Commissioners? Thank you, Mr. Baker. This hearing is now open for public comment. At this time, anyone wishing to speak at this hearing, please come to the podium, state your name and address. Do we have any, Ms. Clerk, Madam Clerk? Okay. Okay, having no one coming forward, does the board have any questions or comments? Okay. I now declare this legislature hearing closed, and this matter is now before the board for deliberation and action. Please be reminded that when adopting or rejecting a text amendment, the board shall approve a statement describing whether its action is consistent with its adopted comprehensive land use plan. The consistency statement must be incorporated into the motion to adopt or reject the amendment. What is the pleasure of the board? I'm sorry, or it may be adopted as a separate motion. What is the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion, we approve. Would you like me to make a further statement?
I would, please.
All right. As to a consistency statement, it will meet the land use that will allow a detached accessory dwelling, ADU, on a residential property that already has a principal dwelling and established development standards for the ADU. Make sure I phrase it correctly. That's fine.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair.
We have a motion incorporating the consistency statement into the motion by Commissioner May. We have a second by Commissioner Cozart. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none.
Mr. Baker, do I need to add anything on that motion to make it aligned with a consistency statement?
I believe it encompasses everything, sir.
That was fine. You're also, to make it easier, you're also welcome to adopt the consistency statement that the planning board adopted that's written out in your agenda.
So I'll amend my motion to adopt that consistency statement of the planning board.
Thank you, Commissioner May. All right, we'll go back to the vote. We have a motion by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Cozart. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. Legislature hearing regarding Land Development Code text amendment pertaining to major subdivision development standards associated with active and passive recreation and streetscape buffers. The next matter on the agenda is a legislature hearing conducted pursuant to the North Carolina General Statute 160D-601 to receive public comment on a proposed text amendment to the County Land Development Ordinance. The proposed amendment is an amendment to the Land Development Code that would change the active recreation open space requirement for new major subdivisions from minimum 10% active recreation to minimum 5% outdoor and/or indoor active recreation, and a minimum 5% passive recreation, and better define active and passive recreation, and increase streetscape buffers along state-maintained roadways, along with establishing different options for installing or preserving the buffers that serve as the streetscape buffer. I now declare this hearing open. I'm sorry, Mr. Baker, would you come forward? I now declare it open.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to state also that this public hearing has been advertised and noticed as per local and state law. As the chair mentioned, it is an amendment that would change the active recreation open space requirement for new major subdivisions from a minimum 10% active recreation to a minimum 5% active and 5% passive recreation. The amendment would also increase streetscape buffers along state-maintained roadways while establishing different options for installing or preserving that buffers that serve as the buffer. The amendments, as you may recall, were first discussed at the September County Work Session. The amendments have undergone several Planning Board and Development Review Committee reviews and drafts. The amendment would require connections between recreational types, active and passive, and make recreation a more integral component of the subdivision. The streetscape buffers would increase the buffer's depth and allow developers to have different options to comply with those buffer standards. You have in your agenda the proposed text amendments that you're considering. The Granville County Comprehensive Plan, in several sections, encourages this text amendment. Specifically, the plan states protect the county's rural atmosphere, increase open space and amenities in new development. View sheds from rural roads should be protected. Ensure new developments include connected streets, common open space, and amenities. Limit visual impacts to rural roads through vegetative buffering. That is the Planning Board's written consistency statement that they adopted at their May 21st meeting. And further, statements from our comp plan require landscaping buffers along rural thoroughfares to preserve the rural visual characters of these areas, and rural view frontage buffers, protection of stands and mature trees. The Planning Board found the proposed amendments are a reasonable and consistent effort to implement the plan's goals, as illustrated by the several citations from the plan above. After holding a public hearing on the 21st of May, the Planning Board unanimously recommended approval of the text amendments as written, with the provision that the amendment add surveyors and civil engineers as professionals allowed to prepare landscape plans in addition to registered landscape architects. That would be a slight adjustment to 32-681 1 in parentheses, C in parentheses. And they did that by a 7-0 vote. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any commissioners have any questions for Mr. Baker?
I'll just have some comments at the appropriate time.
Okay, Commissioner Cozart, you good? Commissioner Griffin? Okay. All right. This hearing is now open for public comment. At this time, anyone wishing to speak at this hearing, please come to the podium. State your name and your address when it's your turn to speak. Floor is now open. Okay. Having no one coming forward, comments are closed. Once again, does the board have any questions? Commissioner May?
Not questions, just want to take, commit, before we vote, I want the commissioners to go back to why this, the origin of this, the importance of this. Prior to the change on passive and active recreation, we had developers utilizing swampland, crevices, storm management control areas as recreation areas. And so this was a way that we could actually dictate where those type of activities should occur, and it also includes connectivity, which brings those areas together. So thank you, Mr. Baker, for the work that the planning board and your staff has done on that. And in regards to the buffers, this provides not just coming in and putting up a berm, but if there is vegetation present that meets the standard, then that would stay as it is, which means we don't disturb something. And then furthermore, if we don't have anything, we have a means to be able to put something there. So I think there was a lot of thought in this. I know there's a lot of discussion. Mr. Baker, your planning board met on this at least 2 or 3 times. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner May. I now declare this legislature hearing closed, and this matter is now before the board for the deliberation and action. Please be reminded that when adopting or rejecting a text amendment, the board shall approve a statement describing whether its action is consistent with its adopted comprehensive land use plan. The consistency statement may be incorporated into the motion to adopt or reject, or it may be adopted as a separate motion. What is the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion we approve based upon the consistency statement of the planning board and their approval therein.
Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Cozart. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Good work by your planning board and your office.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Next item, grant matters. Ms. May, if you would come forward, please. Ms. Kathy May is the Senior Services Director.
Good evening. The Home and Community Care Block Grant is our largest annual funding source. It's made up of federal and state funds with a 10% local match. Our block grant amount for the next fiscal year will be $535,066, which is a $209 increase from our current year. There are only certain basic services that can be provided through this block grant. These include general transportation, medical transportation, congregate nutrition, home-delivered nutrition, in-home aid services, home improvement, and senior center operations. These community-based services are designed to help delay or prevent institutionalization, relieve family caregiver burden, and help prevent elder abuse. Granville County Senior Services is the agency with lead responsibility for planning and coordinating the county funding plan. This mainly involves distributing funding between the eligible services. We develop this funding plan by closely looking at the demand for each service,
the current year's expenditures and distributing the total available amount between the services that you see on your plan. You have the document that shows the suggested distribution. The funding can be moved around between services during the year as needed. If it were not for these services, many more older adults would have to be placed in facilities, and the cost to taxpayers would be much greater. So we are grateful to have this opportunity to serve people in their homes and have them stay in the community. I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody has.
Ms. May, I want to ask you, you did say a $209 increase.
Correct.
Okay, just make sure I heard that correctly.
Correct.
Does any other commissioner have any questions for Ms. May?
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair, I just want to make a comment. You're exactly right, Mrs. May. I really think about our community, and I think about a lot of people who I know who receive these services, and I'm just so happy that they're there. I'm glad to hear you say that if you need to, you could move from one area to another.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, the in-home aid service, one thing I hear a lot of older people say, if I can just stay at home,
right,
I don't want to go to an institution.
Right.
So thank you for your leadership on that. And I'm just happy that we have these funds, this grant, to be able to be used.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner? Ms. May, I'd like to thank you for you and your staff for what y'all do for this county.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it for your leadership. Thank you so
We'd
much.
like to thank you all for your support. You've always been so supportive.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Because we're senior citizens.
At this time, do we have a motion to approve the 2026-2027 county funding plan in the amount of $536,006 developed from the Home and Community Care Block Grant?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve that, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Second motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Griffin, a second by Commissioner Cozart. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. Next, we have solid waste matters. Exclusive residential solid waste collection franchise. First reading of franchise ordinance granting franchise to GFL Environmental. Mr. Jason Falls, the Environmental Programs Director. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, the purpose of this item is to conduct the first reading of the attached solid waste collection franchise ordinance, which would grant an exclusive residential solid waste collection franchise together with a voluntary recycling option in the unincorporated areas of Granville County to GFL. So this franchise agreement, to summarize, is where the carts are pulled out to the road in the unincorporated areas of the county. This is what this franchise agreement's regarding. We have another one later on tonight. So pursuant to General Statutes 153A-46, no ordinance making a grant of a franchise may finally be adopted till it has been passed at 2 successive regular meetings of the Board of Commissioners. Approval of this item constitute the first of 2 required readings. Consistent with the direction, the board provided at its June 1st, 2026 regular meeting, the second reading and final adoption of the franchise ordinance, together with a final award of the franchise, will be placed on the agenda for the July 6, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. In providing a high-level review of past work, county staff issued a publicly advertised an RFP SWF 2026 on February 2nd, 2026, seeking proposals for exclusive residential solid waste collection, transportation, and voluntary recycling services in the unincorporated areas of the county. A mandatory pre-bid conference was held on March 2nd, 2026. Proposals were received and publicly opened on April 2nd, 2026. On May 18th, 2026 regular meeting, the board reviewed the proposals received in response to RFP SWF 2026 and identified GFL as the vendor to which it intends to grant the exclusive residential service franchise. At its June 1st, 2026 regular meeting, the board took the following actions. 1, confirmed and ratified that the board's actions at its May 18th, 2026 regular meeting constituted an expression of intent to award the residential solid waste collection franchise to GFL. 2, directed the county attorney and county staff to prepare a contract and franchise ordinance granting an exclusive residential service franchise for the collection and disposal of solid waste and voluntary recycling option in unincorporated areas of Granville County to GFL. 3, also directed staff to bring the franchise ordinance before the board for consideration at 2 successive regular meetings. First reading is tonight, which is attached in your agenda. The final adoption, the second reading, will take place at the July 6, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. The term of this contract and franchise will be for 5 years, beginning January 1st, 2027 and ending on December 31st, 2031. So I'm recommendation tonight is 1, approve the first reading of the attached solid waste collection franchise ordinance, granting an exclusive residential solid waste collection franchise together with the voluntary recycling option in the unincorporated areas of Granville County to GFL, with the franchise beginning on January 1st, 2027 and ending on December 31st, 2031. Second, confirm that the second reading and the final adoption of the franchise ordinance and final award of the franchise will be placed on the agenda for the July 6th regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. And third, authorize the county manager to execute the contract with GFL upon final adoption of the franchise ordinance at the second reading and finalization by the county attorney. I'm happy to address any questions you may have regarding this RFP award.
Do we have any questions by any county commissioners for Mr. Falls? Mr. County Attorney, as this is the first reading, there's no need for motion, is that correct?
I think we could just have a motion to
Approve the reading?
approve the recommendation, including approving the first reading.
So we need a motion to approve the first reading and the recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
I make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Griffin, a second by Commissioner Cozart. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed likewise. Hearing none. Ayes have it, motion carries. Stay
Mr.
where
Chair?
you, excuse me.
Over here.
Yes, sir.
Just out of an abundance of caution, the recommendation on that item has 3 distinct parts to it. The second part being confirming that the second reading and final adoption will be on July 6th, and the third one being that following that hearing, that second reading rather, that you all would authorize me to execute that contract.
Can we add that to the motion, sir? We can, okay. All right,
I'd like to amend my motion to include that.
okay. And Commissioner Cozart, you'll second that, okay. Do we need to re-vote? Okay, I'm gonna ask for the vote one more time, please. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed likewise. Hearing none. Motion, ayes have it, motion carries. Stay where you are, Jason. Solid Waste Convenience Site Management and Franchise Agreement, Vendor Selection and Direction on Franchise Ordinance. Go ahead.
All right, thank you again, Commissioners. The board is requested to review the proposals received in response to the request for proposals RFP SWCS 2026. Identify the vendor in which it intends to grant a contract and exclusive right and franchise for the operation and management of the county's solid waste convenience center sites, and to provide directions to staff to prepare and bring forward a contract and franchise ordinance for consideration at 2 successive regular meetings of the board as required by law. Pursuant to General Statute 153A-46, no ordinance making a grant, renewal, extension, or amendment of any franchise may be finally adopted till it has been passed at 2 regular meetings of the Board of County Commissioners. Accordingly, once the board identifies the vendor to which it intends to award the contract and franchise, a contract and franchise ordinance shall be brought before the board for its first reading at its regular meeting on July 6, 2026, and for final adoption at its regular meeting on August 3rd, 2026. In providing a high-level summary of past actions, county staff issued and publicly advertised RFP SWCS-2026 on February 2nd, 2026, seeking proposals for solid waste collection, transportation, and convenience site management services for the county's convenience centers. A mandatory pre-bid conference was held on March 2nd, 2026. County staff issued 2 addenda in response to questions submitted by prospective bidders after the RFP release. Addendum number 2, issued March 6, 2026, modified a material requirement of the original RFP by eliminating the requirement that the successful vendor furnish all new compaction equipment, including pre-crushers, waste compactors, and recycling compactors at the convenience sites by January 1st, 2028. The modification was significant in scope and its effect on the proposals received is discussed below. Proposals were received and publicly opened on April 2nd, 2026 in the county manager's office. A summary of the proposals received and the pricing submitted by each vendor is attached hereto for the board's review. Again, the initial term of this contract and franchise will be for a period of 5 years, beginning January 1st, 2027, expiring December 31st, 2031. A summary of proposals received. GFL is the county existing convenience site contractor. GFL proposes to continue providing service using existing used compaction equipment currently deployed at the convenience center sites. GFL does not propose to furnish new compaction equipment as part of this proposal. Anchor Disposal, the second bidder, Anchor's proposes to furnish all new compaction equipment, including pre-crushers, waste compactors, and recycling compactors at all convenience center sites, notwithstanding the elimination of that requirement by addendum number 2. Anchor's proposed fees are higher than those of GFL, reflecting the additional capital investment proposed. There's a note on the equipment variation between the two. The elimination of the new equipment requirement by addendum 2 resulted in material different proposals with respect to equipment. And in my recommendation, I ask that the board take the following actions tonight. Number 1, review and consider the proposals submitted by GFL and Anchor, including consideration of the significant difference in equipment proposed by each vendor. 2, identify and designate the vendor to which the board intends to grant an exclusive franchise and contract for the operation and management of the county's solid waste convenience center sites, and direct staff to prepare a contract and franchise ordinance granting the exclusive franchise right to the selected vendor and to bring that contract and ordinance before the board for a first reading on July 6th and a second reading on August the 3rd, 2026. So I'm happy to happy to answer any question that you may have regarding this.
Do we have any questions by any commissioners for Mr. Falls?
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Falls, in the paragraph on, the second paragraph on the top of page 108, it talks about the initial term of the contract and franchise will be 5 years. And then it goes on to talk about how there can be additional 1 year and another year. So it could be a total of 7 years. In that 5-year period, is there anywhere about any performance kinds of indicators or any kind of performance considerations? Or once we approve this, the 5 years is a lock in and there are no considerations of performance, or there could not be. I don't know if that's a question for the attorney or not. But once we approve this within the first 5 years, what are in this agreement that there could be any performance considerations on the part of the county to show?
The main performance issues that come to mind on the contract is having the maintenance, requiring the site to be open and closed as scheduled. I don't know if I'm answering your question or not. There's $2,000 per day liquidated damages for equipment and truck failures. If equipment fails, like the compactor falls down or breaks down, they have 7 days to replace it. After that, it's $2,000 a day towards the contractor. If a roll-off truck breaks down, they've got 24 hours to get a replacement vehicle in there. After that, $2,000 liquidated damages. Going back to the open and closing the site, make sure it's being open and closed as scheduled. There's one incident, closes 5 minutes early. The contractor would pay the monthly fee, which is scheduled, which is included in your Exhibit A, which is around, between $5,000 and $11,000.
So those penalties serve as motivation.
More penalties in this new contract.
Okay.
Hopefully that answered your question. That's where you were going. I'm not sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any more questions for Jason? County Manager?
And I would just add to Mr. Fall's enumeration of the performance standards that all of our county contracts have performance standards and also termination clauses that allow us, after a cure period where the contractor has the ability to cure whatever has gone wrong, but allow us to terminate before the end of the term of the contract.
Mr. Chair, County Manager, County Attorney. So this has been a little unusual because we've had vendors actually openly discuss the process in public comments rather than coming to after the bid process. Normally, as you know, that's not done. I know I've said it before, but I'm not. Just think it's not the way it should be done. But can we make comments in regards to what demands we may have at this point? Or just make comments that we feel like.
I think you can certainly offer maybe a set of expectations. What we sent out in the RFP is what was bid out. That's what any prospective bidders considered. So when we do the franchise ordinance and the accompanying contract, it's going to be based on what was included in the RFP, but certainly included within that RFP and is going to be a number of performance standards. Certainly you can make, based on comments we received, maybe there's reasons to think, hey, there's certain performance standards that may or may not be being fully met under the current contract. Maybe those could be more strictly scrutinized by county staff and make sure we're holding any selected bidder fully accountable under their performance standards. So I think you can maybe kind of set expectations, but we can't add anything necessarily new.
So by setting expectations, but where does it stand if they don't do, I mean, it seems obvious to me that we were demanding that equipment be replaced and such equipment perform up to the standards in which it's expected. And that you have a compactor go down for an extended period of time, the expectation would be that compactor be replaced and replaced soon thereafter the failure and not a sustained period of time. So if I'm understanding, how long do we have before that compactor would have to be replaced?
Sure.
7 days.
7 days, and after that 7 days, we would have
$2,000 liquidated damage.
And we
per
did not
day.
have that in the former contract, did we?
No, sir.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. I got some notes here. Is there any means in which citizens can complain and/or complain, and who they complain to when they find something that's not meeting expectations? Is there any type of barcodes, any type of QR codes, or any type of process that either vendor has suggested that they would do in that regard?
In the past, it's been direct contact to the prior vendor and myself, either by phone, email. We've discussed here recently on providing some reach out numbers here very soon.
So the expectation,
So
I think, of this
people can
board,
call.
the expectation of this board would be that if a citizen complains about something, that it would go to you or the company, and there would be some type of response through a mechanism that would ensure that the complaint is heard and that action is being taken, correct?
Yes, sir. That should be done before this contract here is awarded.
I think in the contract, at least in the prior one, there was a section that specifically addressed and directed how complaints were supposed to be handled and addressed. Certainly, as part of customer satisfaction, that could be something that it may set out. They're directly routed to the vendor. Certainly, the county and county staff
With an
could.
anticipated turnaround time, not just simply, we'll get back with you. That there would be an anticipated turnaround time so.
I think it was in the prior one is that they would be given prompt and courteous attention.
Probably put some type of time frame if possible to that prompt and courteous attention.
As we review the ordinance and contract, we can give that some thought as to what timeframe modifications.
Commissioner Gooch.
Commissioner Gooch, 1 second. I think the county manager had something to say. Hold your thought, Jimmy.
And I just wanted to add that I think what Mr. Falls was discussing is an additional mechanism whereby comments and concerns can be brought directly to the county, so that we're simultaneously aware of, any similar issues that are arising at the sites.
And if I may, before you do, Mr. Gooch, one last comment and let it roll here. The expectation is the sites are cleaned and kept clean, maintained clean, that we're not waiting for rollbacks to come when they're overfilling, but they're actually there and removing items and removing the dumpsters before, or we don't have to close a dump site, a convenience site on a Saturday early because there's no rollback to remove it. And I think that expectation has to be clearly articulated.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. In the past, the current contract we're working under, customer service complaints goes to who?
To both GFL right now and staff, to me.
And how are they conveyed? Is there a phone number at the convenience site where they can see it?
I don't think there's a phone number currently.
So how do they know, how does the regular customer know how to contact?
They find out pretty quick. I've had,
that might work 20 years ago, but today we need a number where you can register that complaint, where the county can hear it, GFL can hear it, and we can work out whatever problem it is. Now, I can't tell you about all the other sites in the county, but I can tell you about the one in Butner. I've been going there for 16 years, and it has progressively gotten worse. there is no customer service that I see or hear or anyone tells me about. You know, I feel like our people there are getting an unfair level of service. As Commissioner May pointed out, you go there, you have the expectation that when you go there, if you have spent time to break down the cardboard, you want to be sure that the cardboard is put in the cardboard recycling area. You're not directed to throw it in the dump, in the trash container because the cardboard's full. You spend time to recycle and you get there with your recyclables and the bin's closed. And then you have to throw it in with the regular garbage and, you know, you get to the point that it's just, it's frustrating. And I'm not only speaking for my frustration that I've felt at the Butner site. I'm speaking for the frustration of many of my neighbors who have called and complained. And, you know, it's a common occurrence there that even this past Saturday, we were having to throw trash in the open dumpsters that was lined up in the field. They weren't lined up at the compactor. And the regular open container that was at the compactor was full. And, you know, I sent you all pictures from several weeks ago, right before the first round of discussions on this contract. Now, you know, it's been a very frustrating process. And I feel like we need to make sure that our citizens have a mechanism to complain, not just find out, that they have a contact, whether it's a number, whether it's a website, and that information goes to not only the GFL, but to the county, so that we have a record of it, and we can, you know, if it reaches a certain level, we can sit down with the GFL and say, hey, this isn't working. What are we going to do? Or if we award the contract to Anchor, same thing, because we don't know about them. Yeah, GFL does have a record, and that Butner is not a good one. Anchor is the unknown. We don't know, you know, we don't know what we're getting with them. But, you know, Anchor can't say anything about GFL that inflames me, because GFL's actions or inactions have inflamed me enough. And with that, I'm gonna calm down and be quiet.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Gooch. Do you want to bring up anything about price on the contract, Jason, that we've already discussed, or does that need to be county manager?
I think at this point, we'll probably just rely on the price summary that is included in your packet,
Okay.
the bid summary.
All right, does any other commissioner have any comments for Jason? Now, make sure I understand this right, County Attorney. We are going to ask for a motion for the first reading, correct? This is the first reading.
Today, we're just looking to, we're not there on the first reading will be once we come back with the franchise ordinance, similar to what we did for the first round on the solid waste collection. Today is just looking to identify the vendor, and then I think the other items in the packet were directing, you know, county attorney and county staff to come back with the franchise ordinance for you guys to consider at 2 successive readings.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
May I ask attorney a question?
Absolutely.
And county manager, again, I'm not questioning anybody, but it's pretty important, the price. Pretty important, the difference of the price and the impact that would have on our county citizens. So can we hear openly what the difference is, you know, because they're putting in the new equipment, what that would cost, what impact that would have on the citizens if we went with one company versus the other?
I think that our estimates here, which were reviewed by the finance department, were that the the bid, including new equipment, would require an additional $40 a year addition to to all of the household solid waste fees in the county.
Thank you.
That answer your question, Commissioner May?
It did, because that weighs on folks.
Yes, it does. I agree.
That amount weighs on folks.
I agree. I do think at one of the meetings we had, Commissioner Gooch, a couple of weeks ago, we did direct our director of solid waste to put numbers at each of the sites for department heads or for you or GFL. I believe that was a directive that we gave Jason. Correct?
So who answers the phone?
I will work as soon as I can to get some contact information on those compactors or sign up.
Okay. Those numbers ought to be right beside where the hours are.
Yeah, we talked about phone numbers. We talked about QR codes. Some people don't use QR codes. Some people, other folks use phone numbers. So I need to do a little bit more thinking on how to get that information out and easily processed to send out.
Okay.
Also thinking about sending it as a survey as well. Like the QR code to a survey.
Let's think quick. Okay. Do we have a motion to award the solid waste and convenience site management and franchise agreement to GFL as recommended by our, wait a minute. Sorry. Do we have a motion to award the solid waste and convenience site management and a franchise agreement?
Just to clarify, what we're intending to do is to grant an exclusive franchising contract for the operation of the county solid waste convenience center sites and to direct staff to prepare a contract and franchise ordinance, granting the exclusive franchise, and to bring that before the board at the next 2 successive regular board meetings.
What our county attorney just said. We have a motion.
It would need to include a designated vendor, but
that's
correct. I move, Mr. Chairman, with GFL being that designated vendor, the wording that our attorney just shared with us.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Once again, we have a motion. Do we have a second? All right, hearing no second.
I think we have to look at options.
Okay.
And
Okay, can you say that again, Commissioner May?
I second.
Okay. We have a motion and a delayed second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed likewise.
Nay.
We have 1 nay, 4 ayes. Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on the agenda is appointments. We have an appointment, a reappointment to the Library Board of Trustees. I'm sorry, thank you, Jason. Thank you. We appreciate your hard work that you've done. Appointments. Do we have an appointment to the Library Board of Trustees? We do have an opening for District 1. I think Since Chairman Jay is not here, I'm sorry, so we're gonna wait on District 1 till Chairman Jay is here. We have a District 5 seat available. Do we have anyone?
Not this time.
Okay, Commissioner May, not at this time. All right. Appointments to the Granville County Animal Control Advisory Committee. We have District 7 vacancy.
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair, I'd like to appoint Roxanne Blackburn.
We have a motion to appoint Roxanne Blackburn by Commissioner Gooch. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner May. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those nays, no nays. District 2, reappointed Jennifer Kern.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jennifer Curran for District 2.
We have a motion from Commissioner Griffin for Jennifer Kern, District 2. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Cozart. All those in favor, vote for aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, likewise. Motion carries. District 4. We have a District 4, Andrea Westcott is eligible for reappointment. Commissioner Cozart.
Okay. I move for her reappointment.
Okay.
Andrea Scott, Westcott.
Westcott.
I second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cozart and a second by Commissioner Griffin to reappoint Andrea Westcott to the Granville County Animal Control Advisory Committee. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, we have appointment to the Granville County Planning Board. District 2, reappointment, Adam Brewer. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a motion by Commissioner May and a second by Commissioner Griffin to reappoint Adam Brewer, District 2, to the Granville County Planning Board. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. District 4, Nadine Green, eligible for reappointment.
Mr. Chairman, I move for her reappointment.
I second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cozart, a second by Commissioner Griffin to reappoint Nadine Green to the Granville County Planning Board. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. All right.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I think now is another appropriate time to remember Alan Nelson
By all means.
and his service on that board for, Mr. Baker, 20 years. And his service to the county and his passing, and appreciative of all that he has done for our county, and our sympathy go to his family. And I know Mr. Jay, if he was here tonight, he would have mentioned that. But Alan was truly a good man and truly had a servant's heart. So we'll miss him, and thank you.
I totally agree. Alan and I were good friends. We served on the ABC board together for 15 years. And we'd go to Stovall for their board meetings. Alan was always there. He was very interested and served on the Wake Electric Wake Electric board, and couldn't find a better man. Thank you for your comments. All right, county managers report.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two quick comments tonight, one of which is you only have to drive over Falls Lake once to see exactly how low it is right now. We are surely way behind in rain. I heard the other day that we are 20 inches down since last August, and that for this calendar year so far, this is the third driest year in over 132 years of record keeping. You all received an update today from county staff that we are restricting water use at the Gap. I know that the Oxford Water Utility and Seguasa are both instituting more and more severe kind of water use restrictions, and that we're kind of generally recommending that everybody be very careful and thoughtful about their water use moving forward until we get some rain. Second item is just that they've all gone home, but really excited about the Summer Civic Youth Leadership Group, and grateful to Jessica and to a number of folks at Cooperative Extension and also DSS, who are the main organizers behind the whole program that's being delivered to and for them. They were over at our office the other day for several hours. I know they met with Karina and others, and so grateful for the organizers and all of the staff who are contributing to their experience. I think there are good reasons why that program has existed for as long as it has. I think it does make a difference in these students' lives, and I'll just speak personally. Whenever I find a student, whether they're a high school student or a college student or a graduate student, who shows even the slightest degree of interest in local government, I really try to encourage that and increase that, because we need people who are citizens who are knowledgeable about local government. We need knowledgeable workers in local government, and so we do all we can to try to encourage that development in our local youth. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
I need to back up, County Manager. I missed an appointment. My fault. Clerk pointed that out to me. We need an appointment or reappointment for the Granville County Board of Adjustment, District 7, Carlos Lewis.
I have not contacted Mr. Lewis. I will try to do that before our next meeting.
Okay, we'll put that on next meeting's agenda, Madam Clerk. All right, going to the county attorney.
Nothing tonight. Pleasure to be with you all this evening.
Absolutely. No closed session tonight?
No closed session.
Okay,
Unless-
good. We can get home.
Yeah.
All right. Presentation by county board members. Commissioner Gooch.
I probably already said too much tonight, but, I do tend to express my thoughts from time to time. And I just want to thank all of the county staff that's worked on the budget. I want to thank everyone that's worked on it. It's been a long haul this year, more so than others, and we're entering an era where we just have to do more with less in order to keep our budgets in check, and it's extremely difficult, and we end up saying no to more and more people every year on items that they want, items that they, especially like nonprofits and such, they want money, and we just don't have it to give them. And it sounds, they don't like to hear that until the tax bill comes. And when the tax bill comes and we've spent the money and raised the taxes, then everybody's unhappy. And I'm really looking forward to a new way that we're supposed to be doing things at the tax office. When you get your tax bill, you're going to see what your county taxes are, and if you live in a municipality, what your municipal taxes are, and you know where your money's going. You know, we get blamed for all taxes. A municipality raises their taxes, it shows up on the tax bill, but they blame the county for it. And it's, we're guilty quite often when we raise taxes, but we're not guilty when the municipalities raise the taxes. So I'll get down off my soapbox now, and I hope everyone has a good week ahead. And stay cool, and pray for rain.
Thank you, Commissioner Gooch. And I think the new tax bills are going to indicate which municipalities and what their increase or no increase are. So it will show the tax bill which municipality and what they increase. So,
I'm looking forward to that.
all right, Commissioner Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. This past week, last week I had the wonderful chance to go over to Altech, one of our premier companies in our county, one of our largest employers. And it's just so refreshing to see a county company that's willing to invest and reinvest in its business in our county and keep investing in its employees. They had a ribbon cutting for a new paint facility, and on the same day, a groundbreaking for a new manufacturing facility. So it's really wonderful to see that. They're going to add hopefully around 200 employees. They already have plans in place to expand their parking lot and other things over there. They are a great partner with our county, and I look forward to the continued relationship with Altech that they have. The last thing I want to say is, well, close to the last thing is, I'd like for everybody to continue to pray for our chairman, Mr. Zelodius J., who is, in addition to our chairman, he is my mentor and my friend. And he and I now are in the same club and share some of the same things through his health problems that he has had and endured. So I share with him what he's going through in his family. And I just ask everybody to please keep him in your prayers. And the last thing is to please continue to pray for rain. Our farmers in our county are hurting. A lot of them are irrigating like I am, but irrigation only sustains. It doesn't cause things to keep going. And it's a lot added cost, which means it's going to be an added cost at the end line when it comes to consumers of the products that our farmers make, if they're able to make anything. So please, please keep farmers in mind. They're the backbone of our country. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you for your comments, Commissioner Griffin. Commissioner Cozart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to just say to all of you, as I was getting ready to come tonight, I called Chairman Jay's sister, and she told me he was sitting on the porch eating, so I told her that made me feel mighty good. Things are going well. Thanks to all of you for your prayers for him. I took a look at our pay and classification study following our action tonight, and I tell you, I'm very happy that I think we're in a very competitive place. I happen to be aware of some salaries in different areas around, and I'm happy that we are where we are. I think we're in a very good place, and I'm thankful for the action of the board. The Industrial Arts Building at Mary Potter that Ms. Green shared tonight, I probably want to talk to her a little more. I'm real impressed with the work that they've done. That building does represent a piece of history. She reminded me tonight when she said she needed $25,000. We used to always say to the superintendent, we know you have it over there somewhere in the office. That was our mentality. Superintendent, you got it over there somewhere. And I think that's a very worthy thing to consider. So we'll talk more about that at a later time. Also, at our next meeting, I told our vice chair I want to bring a proclamation for your consideration for our family reunion, the 80th year. We've been looking at some things, and I tell you, I'm real proud of our family, the Bridges and Cozarts, and that heritage goes back a number of years, but there's so many positive things in our history, and I want to bring that for the board to consider. We'll get that out before the next meeting. And I think that's, the community center over at on Orange Street. This past week, there was a summer camp there, and I ended up going to it on Friday. And I tell you, that building looks good. I want to thank the board down through the years for all the help you've given us in keeping that building up. And I'm very proud of the leadership there now with what they're doing. but it was very nice to see such a diverse group of students there for a week. And the presentation was absolutely out of sight. So thanks to everyone. And that's all I have, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Cozart. Commissioner May.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to start with our employees. Pay and classification study. You know, when you look at our budget and you look at the line item and the cost of that, it was significant. But, you know, you cannot compete in today's workforce unless you're willing to pay people. And the bottom line is all too often public servants are thought that, well, you know, they'll get it. It's okay. Well, you know, they got to feed their families. They got to raise kids. They got college tuitions to pay. They have needs. And so I'm thankful that we approved that. I think it's the right thing to do, along with the merit increases that will come along in the budget as well. So many of our employees will see, I hope, a reasonable amount of pay increases. And again, did that without raising taxes. I was going to talk about the tax office, but I'm glad my fellow commissioners brought that up. You know, how would you like to work somewhere where the first words out of the mouth is something really, really, really bad and really, really crappy? And I'm using that, clean that one up because my pastor is probably listening. But, you know, simply employees that work in tax office, they're not piñatas. They're not there to be publicly excoriated because commissioners, city or county, make decisions to raise taxes. They're simply performing a function. And our tax office folks take a lot of abuse, and, you know, it's wrong. So publicly, I'm just saying, if you're doing that, you're wrong. You're upset about that, come here or go one of your city council meetings and sit there and tell them why you didn't want the taxes to be raised. And by the way, start going at the beginning of the year instead of at the end of the year. And then also go to many meetings that you can so you can educate yourself about why they may or may not raise taxes. But, you know, I'm just really, those ladies get literally verbally abused, and it's uncalled for. You know, we live in a society today where we think we can say whatever we want to say, write anything we want to write, and not be held accountable for it all. That's wrong. It's wrong. It's not the way any of us were raised. And so don't mind the criticism. It's welcoming, but it's not correct. It should not be done, should not be allowed. Thank you, Commissioner Griffin, for mentioning All Tech. Quite amazing what they do there. And the expansion is quite amazing, so we appreciate it. And the final thing I have is that I want to go over what our RPO did and the Cozart RPO. And I'm County Manager, I look forward to your feedback on it. But there's a significant, well-written white paper on why and how we need to change the methodology of NCDOT and how we may go about changing that to be able to provide a form of equity for rural counties, which are dismissed often because of many of the factors used. And we do have some people listening. There's currently a transportation committee in the legislature that's looking at this. We've been asked to provide our paper to them. We will. And it was an effort of the Cozart RPO, and I'm really appreciative of all the people that helped put that together. But again, out there working to do what we can to make things better for our residents. By the way, the county doesn't own any roads. So when there's congestion and the things of that nature, all we can do is mitigate it through things like TIAs or traffic safety measures or things of that nature. But ultimately, the county doesn't control what the funding or that regard. We don't fund roadways in Granville County. So thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you, gentlemen, for tonight.
All right, that brings us to me. I made it.
You had a tough night.
I appreciate the clerk being right there for me the whole time, and we got through it. Appreciate the public. For those watching, if I blundered, I appreciate you being patient with me. We look forward to Chairman Jay getting back. I hope he's doing better. Sounds like if he's sitting on his porch eating, he's doing okay.
Yeah, he's all right. Yes.
I was not able to make the Altec, but I have been there. We did a year or two ago, I believe. We actually went with Senator Bud came down. But they are a great community partner. The 200 new jobs is going to be awesome. They're good paying jobs. These are jobs that'll stay, most of them in Granville County. But I wish we had 10 more industries just like them. So appreciated. That is really all I have tonight, and we do not have a closed session. Is that right, County Attorney? Okay. So at this point, our meeting is closed. Do I have a
motion to adjourn?
We have a motion to adjourn.
Second motion.
And we have a second by Commissioner Cozart. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, state